Thank you for that introduction, and thank you everyone for taking the time to come and hear the presentation on Great Pacific Gold. I can assure you I've received, I would call it hopefully a friendly teasing over the title of this presentation, which is rather grandiose, making world-class discoveries in Papua New Guinea. We are, though in fact at Great Pacific Gold, we are raising global capital, we are working with local partners, and we are making world-class discoveries in PNG. So hopefully that will come out of this presentation. So just to start, in terms of capital raising, for those of you not familiar with Great Pacific Gold, we are a Canadian-based company. We have a small office in Vancouver in Canada. We're listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange under the ticker GPAC or GPAC. We're well-financed, and when we talk about global capital, we've raised money, over $22 million raised in the last year, all of it earmarked for investment in Papua New Guinea and exploration. And you can see our largest shareholders here on the right-hand side of this slide. More globally focused, Franklin, Libra, both US-based, San Francisco and New York institutions globally. Commodity Capital, European-based, along with Ixios, Paris-based, so raising money out of Europe. And of course, out of Toronto with a large shareholder called 9 Point. And many retail Canadian shareholders form the basis for this company. So we currently have just over 13 million in cash. And as you'll see as we go through this presentation, we are busy spending that in Papua New Guinea, entirely focused there. Of course, what we are doing is we are exploring, we are raising money, but how we behave while we're doing that is very important to our business. When we sat down with our team about 9 months ago now, I guess it was, to come up with what we believed our set of values were, and as everybody in this room I'm sure is aware, you can't see your values, you can only see your behaviors. So this is what we came up with to how to express our values with the local workers. And currently we have 20 full-time employees in Papua New Guinea and over 150 casual workers working for us. And this is how we expect those 170 odd people to behave while they're representing our company and country. And I think it's gone over very well. We've tied it to a word in the local language, which we're all familiar with, Olgeta, which we heard this morning. Good morning, Olgeta. Good morning, everyone. But it means more than that. And I think, interestingly, it does tie into this conference theme, which is working stronger together. And Olgeta to us means to come together. We all work together. And so in the local Talk Pissin, we've assembled our set of values to represent each of those letters, caring, working safely, honesty, integrity, empowering people, etc. And so this is our not only our values that are up on the wall. If you visit our exploration sites in East New Britain, you'll see a large poster with this. It's more than a slogan. It's how we behave while we're doing business in PNG. So where are we investing? We have 4 projects currently in PNG. Wild Dog is by far our flagship project. It's located on the island of New Britain in the East New Britain province. I saw one of the slides from the MRA earlier, which referenced the Sinavit mine as abandoned. It is no longer abandoned. We're actively working on it on exploration now, and we've renamed that Wild Dog. And as we'll see, that forms the basis, the large part of our budget here going forward and in 2025. We also have 2 strategic properties, Kesar and Arau, which are located on either side of K92, who you just saw a presentation from Rob. Kesar to the northwest and Arau to the southeast. So we'll talk a little bit about those in our plans for 2026. And then further down the pipeline, the Tinga project. Importantly, we have been, since focusing entirely on PNG in late 2024, really increasing our exploration expenditure. We only explore in PNG now. We've just finished completion of our last property in Australia. So since 2023, you can see our exploration spend here. This is a relatively significant budget. I think in terms of pure exploration companies, I believe we are the largest spender of exploration dollars in Papua New Guinea. 2025, we're expecting to spend over 32 million kina here. And I can tell you the early look at our budget for 2026 has that increasing by about 50% to 45 million kina or 15 million Canadian dollars. As you'll see, most of that is focused on our Wild Dog project, which is located, as I mentioned, on the island of New Britain. Why do we like this project? It is something that we've partnered with a local group, Munga River, to earn our way into. I believe Coity Mills in the audience here today and is going to be presenting later today to talk about some of the benefits that partnership has brought into the local region, including the 150 odd local casual employees that we employ here. This is a very large-scale project, along with a large-scale land package. On 2 exploration licenses, there's over 1,400 square kilometers of highly prospective ground. At the heart of it is the Wild Dog epithermal structural corridor, which you see highlighted here on this map in orange color. It is large scale, over 15 kilometers in strike length. We've flown this property before we started drilling it earlier in 2025 with a mobile MT geophysical survey. We know that this extends down to at least 1,000 meters in depth in terms of target and likely beyond that. So we're busy now exploring and proving the high-grade nature of this. We're halfway through a 5,000-meter drill program. I'll show you some of the results from that. Earlier this morning, or in Toronto time yesterday, we announced our latest drill hole from our drilling at the Sinivit target, which is near the old operating Sinivit mine, which was 9.5 meters at 13.7 gram per ton gold equivalent. That was about 0.6% copper included in that. So another nice intercept, and as you'll see on the next slide, several of those. So we like Wild Dog. It's high grade, large scale epithermal system. It also has tremendous porphyry potential. Maggie Abbey porphyry in particular is nearby this 15-kilometer Wild Dog structural epithermal corridor. And above all, I think as we mentioned in my introduction, which was also rather grandiose, thank you for that, is that this is an excellent place to build a mine. I've been involved with 3 mine builds in my career, and you'll see the infrastructure here on New Britain is very favorable for mine construction. So looking at some of the specifics, we're just zooming in on our drill results here at Sinivit. This is about a 1.5 kilometer long section through the Sinivit target. I realize that some of those numbers are quite small on there, so we've maybe highlighted them on the left-hand side as maybe the top 3 intercepts. We're planning a 5,000-meter drill program here. We've had a diamond drill turning since May. 3 of that sort of higher-grade intercepts, one of them I already mentioned. Hole 8 was the highlight, I believe, 8.4 meters at just over 50 gram per ton gold equivalent. Throughout some of these high-grade results, hole 6, which was not necessarily the highest grade, but it was around 12.5 gram per ton gold equivalent, also is showing some tremendous copper levels here. That consisted of about 5 gram per ton gold in hole 6, along with 4.9% copper. So some nice bornite enrichment here, along with the chalcopyrite. So this is shaping up, we believe, to be a tremendous start to our exploration of that 15 kilometers. As I mentioned, 1 drill turning here. We've got a 2nd drill rig on the way with our partners at Xenex Drilling. It's due to arrive in January. We're going to continue with the drill rig we have in drilling off this high-grade zone that we call the Northern Sulfide Zone at Sinivit. We believe there's potentially more than 1 million ounces in that area of these types of high grades. We're going to continue drilling with 1 drill there while we start to step out from that high-grade pod and step along to the north and to the south of this discovery, as well as in parallel structures that are parallel to the Wild Dog epithermal system that are targets that have been derived from the mobile MT survey and the work by our team on the ground. So by late January, we're going to have 2 drill rigs turning here, and yeah, we're going to keep going. It's a very exciting project, and as I mentioned, a very good place to build a mine. So just looking at some of the infrastructure that we have around here. This is an aerial photo, obviously, of the eastern part of the island of New Britain and a little bit of New Ireland on the north side of that map. Those white outlines are the 2 concessions that I mentioned, with the red dot in the middle being Sinivit, where we're currently drilling. There's a close proximity, a local airport here. We were pleased to host some analysts, equity analysts from Canada to the project recently. And we were having a nice breakfast at the hotel in Port Moresby at 7 a.m. And by 10 a.m., we were standing in the core shed at Sinivit looking at drill core. So access here through the Tokua Airport, very easy to get to. There's largely a paved road all the way to the site, except for the last 12 kilometers, which is our private access road, which is gravel. But the reason that road is so good is there's also a hydroelectric station along the way, about 20 kilometers from the site, to run a river project, which provides power predominantly to most of the island. And importantly, we believe long-term here, this will likely be the type of mine that would produce a copper concentrate, maybe some free gold, much like K92, recovered by gravity. So importantly, there is a deep water port at Rabaul, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, which currently ships out a large amount of agricultural product, would be very suitable for shipping concentrates, located less than 50 kilometers or about an hour and a half drive from the property. So all in all, a tremendous place to build a mine. And most importantly, a supportive community and the Nunavut landowners who are our local partners here that we're working with to work on the property. So just shifting gears briefly to our other two strategic properties, Kesar and Arau, which I mentioned, located on either side of K92. The map that you see on the right-hand side there, though, that light orange concession is the K92's mining and exploration licenses. Kesar is located, that darker orange color, exploration license 2711 to the northwest. And importantly, that white line that you see cutting across there, the main structural corridor that was referred to in the previous presentation, that cuts right through Cora and Judd and right across the Kesar property. So effectively at Kesar, we are looking for the next Cora and Judd. We've done quite a bit of exploration work. This EL2711, has been earned into with a local partner, Yandel Minerals. Great Pacific Gold now owns 90% of these concessions. And the way we've earned that is by exploration spending over the first 2 years of our exploration license. This was granted back in October 2023. As everyone knows, these are 2-year exploration licenses. And in our first 2-year term, we conducted multiple soil sampling campaigns, extensive mapping across the concessions and the targets. We flew the entire concession belt with mobile MT helicopter-borne geophysics as well, which yielded some very interesting results. Over those 2 years, we've spent 16.7 million kina on this project. So we're very keen here. We've launched our renewal for our exploration license for another 2 years. We've got an updated technical report that we've just filed for this project that's recommending another 10 million kina in expenditure in 2026. So we look forward to working with our partners at the MRA here in the coming months to ensure a smooth renewal of that license so that we can get on the ground in 2026 and follow up the exciting 4,000 meter 13-hole drill program that we had here, which has given us some very good signals that we could be onto a very large epithermal system here that we hope will eventually translate into something like Cora or Judd that's being mined about 8 kilometers to the southeast of where we're currently exploring. So just to conclude, this is a short presentation, but I hope you've come away with it that we are bringing global capital. As I mentioned, we've raised over $22 million in the last 12 months in Canada, the United States, and Europe. We're working with our local partners at Wild Dog and Munga River in particular right now, focusing on investing those dollars in Papua New Guinea. And I think what you're taking away hopefully from this conference is Papua New Guinea is a very good country to invest. I like it particularly for 3 reasons. One of them is obviously geology. The second is because of the operating nature. We've got great operators like K92, Newmont, Barrick, large companies, Harmony, others operating here. You have great people. So our team on the ground here is a very impressive geological team, all made up of local Papua New Guineans who bring skills that you wouldn't find in many places in the world. And then third, the regulatory regime, as we already mentioned, renewing our exploration licenses, things happen smoothly in Papua New Guinea, and we look forward to that continuing. And then lastly, just as we said, investing in PNG, we've invested over 49 million kina here in the last 3 years. That's been ramping up steadily every year since 2023. We expect it to ramp up again between 40 and 45 million kina on budget for 2026 and continue to bring benefits to the local communities and the local landowners associations working together to create jobs and employment for locals. So thank you for your time.